Hi, I'm Jonathan with Rock On Music. Just want to thank you for enrolling your child in Guitar Club this semester. This first video is just going to be an explanation of what we did in the first class. This is going to be a great review for you students and parents. You might be asked a few questions along the way when your child is practicing, and this might help you to answer their questions and understand more of what they've been learning in class. The first thing that we did in class was we talked about the different parts of the guitar, because we're going to be referring to that throughout the Guitar Club. It's important that we know what we're holding in our hands. So the guitar is a lot like, well, it's a lot like you. It has a body, and this part down here from my hand to the bottom is the body of the guitar. And then following up from the body, hopefully connected to yours, is your neck right here. Then the top of the neck is the head, sometimes called the headstock of the guitar, but we usually just refer to it as the head. Now on the side of the head are the tuners. The tuners are the one thing that we ask students not to touch in class because, as some of you may have experienced at home, if they start turning these more and more and more, eventually the strings go snap. And so we always have the guitars tuned for them. And at the end of this video I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to tune your guitar at home. Now on the front of the neck of the guitar, we have these metal lines going across. Those are called frets, and that's where we're actually going to be pressing our fingers down to create different notes while we play the guitar. Of course, going across the neck, we have 6 different strings. A bass guitar might have 4 strings, different instruments have different numbers of strings. The guitar has 6 strings, and they go all the way down to the bottom, connected to the bridge of the guitar, which is where they're fastened and tied down. Now, when I hold the guitar, I don't hold it like a cello or like a violin, of course. I've got to actually place it down on my body. Now, the body of the guitar has in it this natural curve. That's going to fit great right on your leg. Now, a lot of times beginning students want to take a look at the guitar, and that's normal because when you sit like this, all of a sudden you realize I can't see the frets on the neck, and so students will want to do this. They'll want to let it slide down. And maybe you've heard me say in class, the guitar is not a table, so we don't want to see it flat like this because my hand really has to bend uncomfortably now to reach the frets. It reaches much more easily when it's upright. It's okay to look over the guitar, and if you've watched any videos or been to a concert, you've seen the electric guitar player looking down at his hands the whole time while he plays a solo. That's perfectly fine to look down, but don't turn the guitar out like that. That's going to really hurt your hand after a while. So that's good posture right there. And my hand, notice, is going underneath the neck of the guitar. It's not going on top. Some of you might have seen the movie August Rush, where he played the guitar, tapping it on top. That's kind of cool, but it's not the way most people play the guitar. We're going to hold it up like this, hand underneath the neck of the guitar, and we're going to use our fingers, not our thumbs. It's easy to reach this string right here with your thumb, and it's real tempting, students, isn't it, to want to play everything with your thumb. But we're going to use our fingers, because we've got 4 of those and only 1 thumb. So we want to use our fingers to play those notes. Now, in my right hand, I'm holding a pick. Now, the pick is going to be held with your thumb going across the pick, and my index finger grabbing it kind of on the side of my finger like that. It's a lot like an iceberg, where you only really see the tip of the iceberg. I only want to see a little bit, the pointy part of the pick. That's the part that I'm going to use to strum and make music on the guitar. Now, there's one important thing that we didn't get to just yet, and that's the strings, because each string is different. The one that's closest to my chin here is called the 6th string. Remember we said there are 6 strings on the guitar. This is the 6th string. That is going to be the lowest and the thickest string on the guitar. Sounds like this. Now if I go to the other end, the string that's closest to the floor, that's the 1st string, and that's going to sound the highest. And of course they work 6, then 5, then 4, then 3, 2, and 1. I just did was I played every string open. That means I didn't use my other hand to fret any notes at all. I just played the string open. Now the first thing we learned in class was how to play the melody Jaws. And to play Jaws, I'm going to take one finger, not my thumb, I'm going to take one finger and press down on the red fret or fret number 1. And it sounds like this. Open, 1, open, 1. And of course, as I play it faster, you can start to hear the theme of Jaws in there. And when we write that out as guitar music, we're going to call this tablature, or for short, we're just going to call it tab. Tab is guitar music written with 6 lines. The musical staff that has notes written on it uses 5 lines. Tab uses 6, of course, because we have 6 strings on the guitar. If you see a 0 written on tab, that means open. So I play the note open. If I see the number 1 on the bottom line, which is the 6th line, I'm going to play fret number 1. If I see a 2 or number 3, now all those notes were on the 6th string, the bottom line on tab. If I see numbers written on the other lines, well, I've got to switch my left hand and my right hand to find those. So here is open, 1, 2, and 3, but all on the 1st string. So those are the basics of how we read guitar tab. All of our songs during the year are going to be done using tab, and it's really just reading a graph. What line are we looking at is what string we're playing, and the number tells us how many frets to count up. Even all the way up to 12 or higher, it's the same principle. The last thing I want to talk about is how to tune your guitar. Now, tuning your guitar actually can take a long time to do by ear. I was probably about 14 or 15 before I could tune my guitar by ear, and before then it was probably just hard for other people around me to hear me play because it was so out of tune. They of course sell electronic tuners in stores that you can get, that they can be very helpful. On our website we've also included a little tuner plug-in. Now all that does is when you click on the switch, it's going to play for you what the string should sound like. You still need to use your ear to match the string to that. Okay? And so if you hear but your string sounds like, you have to use your ear to know that it should sound a little higher and bring it back up to pitch. The one mistake that I mentioned earlier that we don't want to do is continue turning it tighter and tighter and tighter. You can damage your guitar, and you can also more than likely break the string. So if you have trouble tuning your guitar at home, the first thing to do is to get an electric tuner. And the second thing, you can also ask your teacher if you can bring it into class, and that's always okay. We're happy to tune them for you. So that's just an explanation of what we do in our first class. The other videos that you'll see below are going through each song individually and how to play the different parts to those. Thanks so much.